Follow up tonight, parents and students are reacting to major cuts at Cumberland Academy in Tyler. More than 4 dozen workers were let go this week, including teachers. And tonight we're hearing from parents and students. But as KLTV7's Alex Weister reports, teachers are not able to openly speak about it.
I was probably more devastated than my son.
It made me sad.
Those are just a few words that teachers, parents, and students have said about the recent staff cuts at Cumberland Academy, as 50 teachers and staff out of 300 were let go earlier this week. Cheyenne Lord says her son Zayden's kindergarten teacher was among those let go. When she received word, she was stunned.
These are children's educations, and especially to not be informed about it, to not have any type of notice, for this to just come up and completely blindside the parents, the children, and the teachers. It was a complete shock.
While parents and teachers received notices of the staff and budget cuts, some students found out the news firsthand from their teachers during class.
When we went to my culinary classes, which is when my teacher told us that she got fired, I saw kids who I've never seen cry before. It was so hectic at that school when everyone found out. Everyone just wanted to go to the teachers' classes, tell them goodbyes.
Belcher says she was able to say goodbye, but others like Alex Xavier Chavez never got that chance. He says his teacher who was let go definitely helped him in life.
He was the first teacher that I grew a strong emotional connection with him. Me and him would speak about, like, after class and everything, we would speak about my baby brother who was going through stuff at the hospital at the time. He knew everything, always go to him.
Teachers aren't talking openly. Some have told us their severance or their current position come with the requirement that they keep quiet, including on social media. Cumberland Academy has said they are realigning staff to minimize disruptions in learning for students, but some parents say they still have concerns. Alex Weister, KLTV7 News.
We reached out to school administrators again today, but they have not responded as of news time. That being said, yesterday the superintendent did tell us Cumberland Academy, like most public schools in Texas, continues to operate on 2019 funding levels despite significant inflation, cost escalations, and the end of federal relief funding. In addition, post-pandemic student enrollment and student attendance continues to be lower. Now, we're told the school is offering transition assistance and severance, and laid-off workers are eligible for rehiring.